in your zealous regard in the interest of Masonry, and your ability to discharge the important duties of the Master's Chair, have chosen you to occupy this honorable position for the ensuing Masonic year. Are you willing to accept this important trust? You will then face the brethren of your lodge. Brethren of Malolos Lodge number 46, you now behold before you Brother Joselito C. Manuel, who has been elected Worshipful Master of this lodge and who is now about to be installed. If any of you has any reason to urge why he should not be installed, you will make it now known or forever hold your peace. Worshipful Sir, you will face the east. Hearing no objections, I shall most cheerfully proceed to install you in the dignified and honorable station to which the suffrages of your brethren have called you, not doubting that the dignity of the Oriental chair will be preserved in your keeping, and that the interest and welfare of the lodge will be safely confided to your charge. Before commencing to your investiture, however, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to the ancient charges and regulations which point out to the duties as Master of the lodge, and which on no account should ever be neglected or departed from. Very worshipful Master of Ceremonies, you will conduct him before the altar. The ancient charges and regulations will be given by our District Deputy Grand Master for Masonic District R3 Bulacan, Very Worshipful Pablo Trono Panganiban Jr. Very worshipful, sir.
The ancient charges and regulations are as follows. Number 1, you agree to be a good man and true and strictly to obey the moral law. Number 2, you agree to be a peaceful citizen and cheerfully to conform to the laws of the country in which you reside. Number 3, you promise not to be concerned in plots and conspiracy against government, but patiently to submit the decision of the Supreme Legislature. Number 4, you agree to pay a proper respect to the civil magistrate, to work diligently, live creditably, and act honorably by all men. Number 5, you agree to hold in veneration the original rulers and patrons of the Order of Masonry and their regular successors, supreme and subordinate, according to their stations, and to submit to the award and resolutions of the brethren when convened in every case consistent with the Constitution of the Order. Number 6, you agree to avoid private tics and quarrels and to guard against intemperance and excess. Number 7, you agree to be cautious in carriage and behavior, courteous to your brethren and faithful to your lodge. Number 8, you promise to respect genuine brethren and to discountenance impostor and to all dissenters from the original plan of Masonry. Number 9, you agree to promote the general good of society, to cultivate the social virtues, and to propagate the knowledge of the art. Number 10, you promise to pay homage to the Grand Master for the time being and to his officers when duly installed, and strictly to conform to every edict of the Grand Lodge or General Assembly of Masons that is not subversive of the principles and groundwork of Masonry. Number 11, you admit that it is not the power of any man or body of man to make innovation in the body of Masonry. Number 12, you promise a regular attendance on the committees and communication of the Grand Lodge, on receiving proper notice and to pay attention to all the duties of Masonry in convenient occasion. Number 13, you admit that no new lodge should be formed without permission of the Grand Lodge and that no countenance should be given to any irregular lodge or to any person clandestinely initiated therein, being contrary to the ancient charges of the order. Number 14, you admit that no person can be regularly made a Mason in or admitted a member of any lodge without previous notice and due inquiry into his character. And lastly, number 15, you agree that no visitor shall be received into your lodge without due examination and producing proper vouchers of their having been initiated in a regular lodge. These are among the regulations of the free and accepted Masons, and to this your assent must be freely given.
Thank you, very worshipful sir. Worshipful sir, please raise your right hand. Do you submit to these charges and promise to support these regulations as all masters have done in all ages before you? Thank you. And in consequence of that assurance, and with full confidence in your capacity and zeal, kneel on both knees, place both hands upon the Holy Bible, square and compasses, to take the solemn vow of your office. You will repeat the vow of your office after me. I do solemnly and sincerely vow
I do so most solemnly and sincerely vow
that I will maintain, support, and enforce
that I will maintain, support, and enforce
the Constitution, edicts,
the Constitution and edicts,
laws, and regulations
laws, and regulations
of the most worshipful Grand Lodge
of the most worshipful Grand Lodge,
of free and accepted Masons of the Philippines,
free and accepted Masons of the Philippines,
and the bylaws of my lodge,
and the bylaws of my lodge,
and will faithfully perform
and will faithfully perform
to the best of my ability
to the best of my abilities
all the duties of my office
all the duties of my office
to which I have been elected.
to which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Amen.
Amen.
Christ, my brother. I will now install you Worshipful Master of Malolos Lodge number 46. Very Worshipful Master of Ceremonies, you will conduct him in front of the east. the Senior Warden-elect.
Very worshipful installing officer, I now present to you for installation Brother Carlo R. Palomo, who has been duly elected to serve as senior warden of this lodge for the ensuing year. He is of good morals, true and trusty, and possesses the love and confidence of his brethren. This certificate vouches for his proficiency in the lectures and ritual of the first and
Magno R. Palomo, you have been elected Senior Warden of this lodge. And I will now invest you with the distinctive badge of your honorable station, the level. The level demonstrates that we descended from the same stock. We partake the same nature and share the same hopes. And although distinction among men is necessary to preserve subordination, yet no eminence of station should make us forget that we are all brothers. For he who is placed on the lowest spoke of the fortune's wheel is entitled to our regard, because a time will come when the wisest may know not how soon, when all distinction save and that of goodness shall cease, and death, the mighty leveler of human greatness, shall reduce us to the same state. My brother, you have heard the Master gave his assent to support and defend the ancient charges and regulations of free and accepted Masons. They also make the same pledges and promises, fully understanding the same. Then, very worshipful Master of Ceremonies, you will conduct him before the altar and place him as a Master Mason to take the solemn vow of his office. You will repeat the vow of your office after me. I do solemnly and sincerely vow
I do solemnly and sincerely vow
that I will maintain, support, and enforce
that I will maintain, support, and enforce
the Constitution, edicts,
the Constitution, edicts,
laws, and regulations
laws, and regulations
of the most worshipful Grand Lodge
of the most worshipful Grand Lodge
of free and accepted Masons of the Philippines,
of free and accepted Masons of the Philippines,
and the bylaws of my lodge,
and the bylaws of my lodge,
and will faithfully perform to the best of my ability
to the best of my abilities
all the duties of my office
all the duties of my office
and that of the worshipful Master
and that of the worshipful Master
in his absence.
in his absence.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Amen.
Amen.
Arise, my brother. Your regular attendance in all your stated meetings is essentially necessary. In the absence of the Master, you are to govern the lodge. In his presence, you are to assist him in the government of it. I firmly rely on your knowledge of Masonry and your attachment to the lodge for the faithful discharge of this important trust. Look well to the west. present the Junior Warden-elect.
Very worshipful installing officer, I now present to you for installation Brother Ryan B. Cardinal, who has been duly elected to serve as Junior Warden of this lodge for the ensuing year. This certificate vouches for his proficiency in the lectures and ritual of the first degree.
Brother Ryan B. Cardinal, you have been elected Junior Warden of this lodge, and I will now invest you with the badge of your high position, the plum. The plum admonishes us to walk uprightly in our several stations, to hold the scale of justice in its equal poise, to observe the just medium between intemperance and pleasure, and to make our passions and prejudices coincides with the line of our duty. To you is committed the superintendence of the lodge during hours of refreshment, and it is therefore indispensably necessary that you should not only be discreet and temperate in the indulgence of your own inclinations, but that you should carefully observe that none of the craft may suffer to convert the means of refreshment into intemperance and excess. My brother, you have heard the Master gave his assent to support and defend the ancient charges and regulations of free and accepted Masons. Do you also make the same pledges and promises, fully understanding the same? Then, very worshipful Master of Ceremonies, you will conduct him before the altar and place him as a Master Mason to take the solemn vow of his office. You will repeat the vow of your office after me. I do solemnly and sincerely vow
I do solemnly and sincerely vow
that I will maintain, support, and enforce
that I will maintain, support, and enforce
the Constitution, edicts,
the Constitution, edicts,
laws, and regulations
laws, and regulations
of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge
of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge
of Free and Accepted Masons of the Philippines,
of Free and Accepted Masons of the Philippines,
and the bylaws of my lodge,
and the bylaws of my lodge,
and will faithfully perform
and will faithfully perform
to the best of my abilities
to the best of my abilities
all the duties of my office
all the duties of my office
and that of the Worshipful Master
and that of the Worshipful Master
in his absence.
in his absence.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Amen.
Amen.
Arise, my brother. Your regular and punctual attendance in all your stated meetings is particularly requested, and I have no doubt that you will discharge your duties to which you owe your present appointment. Look well to the south. Master of Ceremonies, you will next present the Treasurer-elect.